Hi, I'm Natalie Rogers with Tat Your Own Adventure. In this video, we are going to be looking at the treble tatting stitch. This is another technique by Nina Caruso. So we'll have a fun taking a look at that. Here we go. First thing I'm going to do is get some stitches between the last split ring I did on my practice thread and where we're going to try that treble tatting stitch. Okay. In patterns, it is notated as TDS. That is the treble tatting stitch. So let me just do a couple stitches here, put 5 stitches in, and then we will start a treble tatting stitch. Okay, so I've got 5 stitches, not picos. I do that a lot, I'm sorry. Okay, so we got 5 stitches in. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a very small picot next. Okay, very small picot followed by a single stitch, single double stitch. And then here is where things get interesting. So this is the start. That very small picot single stitch is the start of our treble tatting stitch, because now what we're going to do is we're going to take our hooking tool of choice, your joining tool of choice, whatever you use to pull threads through your picots, and we're going to pull that thread through our picot. I'm using a crochet hook. I recommend that for this. It makes it easier to grab, and you have to do it a couple times. So I did it once. We're actually going to do it twice. Oops, I came out of the spot. I'm using a smaller crochet hook than I probably should be. Okay, and that second one we're going to pull and make a little bit bigger. If you've done the vapor stitch, this next part of the technique probably will feel a little bit familiar to you, because what we're going to take and do is we're going to twist this loop 1, 2, 3 times, and then we're going to send our shuttle through that loop, and we are then going to tighten this, and I want to make sure that it doesn't bunch up weird, but it's basically putting a barrel knot right next to the climb up we did with the chains. Okay, so let me zoom in on this. Okay. So that is your treble tatting stitch. And then we're going to basically leave another small picot. You just want it to be the height of your treble tatting stitch so it doesn't pull it over. And then a stitch. And then I'm going to put 5 so you can see what a single treble tatting stitch looks like. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. There we go. Okay, so take a look here. That is your treble tatting stitch. It is much taller than your standard double stitch. Okay, so let's try it again. I'm going to flip over so that my chain is the other color, just in case it's harder for you to see one color over the other. Gives you a chance to see it both ways. And we will walk through this process again. So I'm going to put 5 more stitches on before I do another treble tatting stitch. I'm also switched over because, as you can see, I'm running out of purple thread. So if it's the core, that little bit that I have left will stretch a lot longer than if it's the part being worked as the stitches of the chain. Okay. I think I unflipped a stitch in the process. Nope, okay, it's fine. 1, 2, 3. Make sure this is in focus. Yeah. 4, 5. Okay, so if my pattern is 5, TDS, and then 5, so 5 double stitches, a TDS, and then 5 more double stitches. I would do 5 stitches, that very small picot, because again we're going to build up over it with that chain. Okay, very small picot, needs to be big enough that your joining tool of choice can fit through it, but it doesn't have to be much bigger than that. Come through with 1 loop or chain up if you're familiar with crochet, and your second chain, you're going to make that loop bigger, because again that loop is going to be the loop that you twist. 1, 2, 3. Okay, come through, slide it, tension it, pull it as you need to if it's getting tighter before you want it to, and then slide it up snug next to the one that you built up with the chains, and then finish it off with a very small picot that basically just makes it so it stays standing upright, and a stitch. Okay, so there you go. That is your treble tatting stitch. I'm just going to put 5 stitches, and then I'm going to show you how to do more than 1 treble stitch in a row. Some patterns will call for multiple TDS in a row. They tend to be rewritten with the whatever the double stitch count was, and then a number with no space next to the TDS. So it would be like 5 TDS, all is 1, not really a word, but 1, no spaces. So sort of like 1 word, except words don't tend to have numbers in them. Okay, so we're gonna do 5 triple tatting stitches in a row. Okay, so we slide down, we need that very small picot. Once we have our very small picot, we come with our crochet hook or other joining tool to grab the thread from behind and make a loop. Once we have that loop, we're going to loop a second time. That second loop is then the one that we want to twist. If you got a crochet hook in it, you can totally twist with that if you want, or you can put your finger in it. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't matter either way. And then just make sure you pinch it so you can get your shuttle through it. And then you start tightening it down. So one of the tricks I found as you tighten down is to actually kind of just hold the thread loosely and let it kind of slide so that it doesn't all slide at once. This helps keep it even and from bunching weird. As you practice, you'll find more tricks. And then again, that very small picot with a stitch after it. Okay, so we've completed the first one, and it calls for 5. So we're gonna do another one. We already have our very small picot. It was the one that came down off of the previous one, so we're not gonna do anything else except for chain up. So we're gonna chain 1 and then come back through and chain that second one. And again, that second chain is the one that we're gonna twist 3 times. 1, 2, 3. It's a triple tatting stitch, so remembering that 3 makes it pretty easy. Triple is 3. Okay, and then tension it up. And there you go. I'll lift this up so you can see. I haven't done the very small picot that ends it yet, but you can see how I have 2 now side by side. Let me do that very small picot. Again, I just want that picot to maintain the height so it doesn't curve over my stitch. And then since I'm doing 5, I'm ready to move into the next one. So again, going through that very small picot we just created by having it come down. And we're looping once, twice. Need a little bit more in my hold. Okay, once you've got that second loop, you're then going to twist it 1, 2, 3. Send your shuttle through that loop. And then start tensioning. Okay, if it slides too fast for you, you just kind of grab it and tug it back down. Okay, and then once you've got that, you finish it off with the first half of the stitch. Come on, there we go. With just a stitch next to it that has that very small picot that comes down. Okay, so now I've got 3. Again, I want to get to 5. Giving me some practice with this. You can have as many or as few in a row as you want. It's all going to depend on the pattern. Oh, that was just my first loop. So let me slide that back down. I want my second loop, and that's the one that I'm going to make big. There we go. Second loop. 1, 2, 3. Twisted 3 times. Slide it down. Okay, that's the 4th one. Once I do the small picot stitch on its side here. So really the small picot is the last part of the stitch when you're counting. So that next stitch that you make would be part of your double stitch count, unless you're going into another triple tatting stitch, which we are. So we're going to use that very small picot to grab a loop, come through our loop, keep our loop kind of small, grab our second one. The second one is the one that we want big. So we can do our 3 twists, 1, 2, 3. I'm pinching all my twists, so it doesn't matter how much it twists on that side as long as I don't catch extra ones. It'll be fine. Here we go. Slide it up, get my last little barrel. And come down with that very small picot. I'm going to add 5 more stitches so you can see what 5 TDS, and then 5 looks like. Okay, there we go. 5 TDS, they're taller, and then 5 coming down the side there. Okay. So that was on a chain. And I can tension the chain however I want. I can make it straighter, I can make it more curved. Just like you can with any chain. Okay, so then let's take a look at it in a ring. This is a technique you can do in the ring as well. You can do it on a split ring too. I'm just going to show the ring today. Okay. One, 2, 3. Just going to do 5 stitches. Then I'm going to do 1 TDS. So very small picot. One, 2 loops through that very small picot. Well, 1 loop through the small picot and then 1 more loop after that. Okay, twist 3 times. Send your shuttle through your loop. tension it down. Slide it over if it's not being cooperative. It'll help it tension and bring it back over. Here we go. And then very small picot that basically just leaves it standing. Did the wrong stitch again, hang on. Just leaves it standing, and then 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that is how you do it on a normal ring. I'm not going to close this ring yet because I'm going to now switch over to show you split ring. Hopefully I have enough purple to show you at least one here. So I'm just going to do 2 stitches in, so we just have a little bit of space there. Okay, and then we do a very small picot. It starts the same way, but then it gets a little bit different. So very small picot, 1 DS, 1 double stitch. Okay, then we're going to grab 1 loop instead of 2, because this is where it gets a little bit different. This we want to keep open. Okay, we're going to go through this 1 loop. Again, leaving that loop open, so I'm just going to hook it out of the way here. And then, okay, so it's hooked out of the way. We are going to start a stitch like we normally would. So again, we're on the reverse side, so the second half, it's looped once, twice, 3 times, just going through that loop that we just made. And then we want to take it back up through. So we went down through initially, looped, and did 3. Now we're going back up through. And then we're going to tighten. So it's a little bit trickier here to see where things are. We need our loop to shrink. Pull over here. Okay, I'm shrinking that loop down. Okay. Make sure I'm gonna twist on the side of the loop. Okay, I'm pulling. So basically, I pulled that loop through. Oh, I just ran out of thread. Okay, so I pulled the loop through. Luckily, I didn't lose the thread. Okay, and then as we slide, tighten around, tighten around. Tighten around, and there we go. We got our little barrel. And then we do a very small picot. And 2 stitches. 1, 1/2, 2. I'm going to close my ring because I have all the stitches on it that I want, and then I'll hold it up so you can see the triple tatting stitch on both sides. Split ring side of things definitely takes practice. I haven't done it as much, so I will probably practice some more and maybe show another split ring treble tatting stitch video later. I will also link to Nineta's original videos and her webpage that talks all about the treble tatting stitch and also gives you some practice patterns that you can try out with that. So there we go. That is the treble tatting stitch.